Hello and welcome to On the Corner, the official podcast, pitcherlist.com. I'm your host, Eric Samulski, joined, as always, by the man himself, Nick Pollack, for our first off-season podcast. Nick, it's your top 200. We may only get to top 100 today, but this is your top 200. So just explain to the people real quick before we dive in what they should expect, what the thought process was behind these rankings.
And also want to mention both Eric and I have lost our voice a little bit already. So
a little bit.
Bear in mind, please. Look, this is for 12 teamers specifically, not 15s. This is 12s. And generally when it comes to 12 teamers, I have a couple things in mind. One, wait on pitching because there are so many options. And then two, when you do go for it, actually do it aggressively. Don't just kind of, when you think about your fourth SP or your fifth SP, in some cases, I'm trying to make it so that those who are going for their third starter, you have your fourth, because we're not spacing it out. We're just going like 7, 8, 9, 10. Those are the rounds we attack. It's generally been my strategy for years. It's why like Max Fried, Joe Ryan, those kind of guys were available. Carlos Rodon, Christopher Sanchez. I kid you not, I had a team with those four as my first four pitchers because of how it spaced out and how easy it was to go aggressive at 7, 8, 9, 10, maybe even a little bit longer to get Christopher Sanchez in there. That is the mentality I have. And what that means is that some of the guys that will 15 teamers that you'll be favoring over some of the ones in the middle are not going to be there. They're going to be pushed down further than you think. I also want to emphasize this year, oh my gosh, it's impossible in the middle glob, as Paul Sporer has always called it, but it is really difficult for me to decide between certain fun upside guys or not. And I have, there are many tiers that are just like, you're at the bottom of a tier and the top of another one. And that will mean that maybe two guys that you think are right neck and neck are 15 spots, 20 spots apart. This is a work in progress. The first iteration of it, it's more vibes than it is me doing my deep research. That is what I come out with in February. So get ready because I'm going to have ranks here that are different than in February.
Oh, for sure.
Just right now, my take.
Yeah, this is a vibe check one. And also, like, listen, some of these rankings will be more accurate than the rankings we do in February and March. When you get into, so-and-so added this pitch and looks good in spring and is, throwing 2 miles an hour harder. And then you kind of like our immediate gut reactions to like how they looked this year get morphed. And so I think it's really important to kind of we're going to talk through these. Maybe you do your own. Keep it in the back of your mind. See which guys in spring training you've like drastically shifted on, and then say, okay, why did I drastically shift? Should I dial that shift back a little bit to just be like a little bit of a shift, or should I not have shifted at all?
You should stop saying shift. It sounds like you're saying something else, Eric. Okay. Well, we'll get to Cam later.
Change. And I will just say, like, as we dive in, that's probably my biggest change that I'm doing this year is I left my my October rankings like in the rearview mirror in spring and never looked at them again when I was redoing spring training rankings. But I do think there's value in having just watched a full season of baseball, ranking these guys based on how good we think they will be when it's pretty fresh in our minds.
Right. Absolutely.
We're going to start with tier one. Everybody knows who these three guys are. I think they're everybody's tier one. You have number 1, Garrett Crochet, number 2, Paul Skeens, number 3, Tarek Skubal. I think you can kind of juggle them however you want, but can you tell us why you landed that way?
Because Crochet is going to get more wins. And he did this year. He also, you might be surprised to know that there's a lot more strikeouts with Crochet too. And I just can't see a world where I have Skeens first because you are just going to get fewer wins. And who knows how the Pirates kind of use him while Crochet is being thrown out there 7 innings plus or so. I actually put Skubal third, which I know sounds wild, but I do believe there is some regression coming with what he does. And I think I think it's pretty incredible that he's holding this 100 mile per hour velocity a lot as well. And I think that it's just harder for him to maintain exactly this. And it's really hard. You can just do it any way you want. But Paul Skeens has kind of proven himself as the ratio god. Right. So fine. You are going to get the tiebreaker kind of with Skeens and Skubal. And Garrett Crochet to me is the one because of that volume and wins and strikeouts just being incredible.
Yeah, your first big surprise kind of comes at starting pitcher number 4, which is in your next tier. I'll just say this tier is the ace is going to ace tier number 1.
Yes, this is how I have it right now. I don't have names. I just have like stud
Right.
and then AGA 1. Yeah.
But it's number 4, Brian Woo. Number 5, Yoshinobu Yamamoto. Number 6, Hunter Green. Number 7, Cole Reagans. Number 8, Max Fried. Number 9, Logan Gilbert. Number 10, Christopher Sanchez.
Okay. Yeah.
Coming
Go
into
ahead.
the year, we said Brian Woo, top 15 or 20 pitcher if he stayed healthy. He kind of showed that and surpassed it. He's currently now not healthy and not on the ALDS roster. And so I think we may have a whole season of the same kind of questions.
Yeah, I could be very much too high on Wu. I initially actually made this without with the understanding that he's totally fine. It was just like a small thing. So that could very well make me not interested. And if you listen to the craft episode with me and Ionosaurus, we were talking about the lessons we learned from last year. And one of the major ones is do not go after injured pitchers who have an injury ding entering the season. And also don't go for injured pitchers who had not had an opportunity to pitch in September. This is something I think Spore and I have also said a lot is like we need those extra little games just to make sure everything's cool. Shane Bieber did that and he did really well after that initially. DeGrom had that as well. It's just something we've seen in the past. So that's why Cole Reagan's cool. You're here. We saw those innings. With Brian Wu, I see him as Zach Wheeler 2.0. I mean, that's really what I get from this. And watching in this entire season, four-seamer sinker in the same way that Wheeler does, the elite command of it, adding on with the sweeper and the slider as well, just in the same way that Wheeler did. An amazing home park, lots of wins. To me, this is your he is absolutely a stud, and it's so fastball based with additions that to me, a normal season of Brian Wu should be great. If there are significant injury dings, fine. Then we're going to change this come February. For the rest of the crew, I am favoring as much as I can the higher volume success guys. And I think the big distinction I make between 15-teamer crowd and this one is it volume that we know is not going to have the risk of like a 117 whip, right? Is it actually just potential 105, 1 whip with that great strikeout and at least 25% plus strikeout rate and volume, etc. So Yamamoto might be surprising to everyone to know that he had 30 starts instead of 32, or sorry, same thing like 25, 26 when we heard 6-man, and he was just excellent.
Right.
It was just so consistent. Thing is, he is slightly capped at that. He would be the first one, but I do expect a 6-man again. Hunter Green, I just think what he does is absolutely elite. Cole Reagans as well. Max Fried, it's a little different. It's not as much on the strikeout side, but it is just like you are just amazing, and it's going to be great. Logan Gilbert, I am so annoyed by him, but I just think that every year he takes a very small minimal step forward. And Christopher Sanchez, I can't deny the fact that he is one of the most efficient pitchers in baseball. It is really shocking to see it. And he really took off in the second half as opposed to the first. And he had better put away rates. He, as far as difference from last year, there were actually a little bit fewer strikes at times, but then he amplified the put away rate on all pitches essentially. And he just feels like, oh yeah, you are this. So I like that. So this is why all these guys are here. And it's very similar to the next tier. It's just a little bit more haze.
Yeah, I will say I have Cole Reagan's 8th, so one spot below you. We're doing our Roto World, friends and family staff, friends and staff and whatever draft right now. I got Reagan's as the 16th starter off the board in the 6th round of that draft.
Oh, that's amazing.
And so, again, who knows where the market is going to be come the start of the season. But I do think like there were a lot of like, hey, Cole Reagan's has a checkered injury past. And then he obviously had an injury plagued season. And we know that injuries played a role in his numbers because he was pitching hurt for a few starts that inflated the ratios and whatever.
Sure.
And so there's a chance that there are going to be some people that are really low on him come February or March because of the injury questions, because they're just looking at, his 4+ whatever ERA. But I still believe Reagan's is a top 10 fantasy starter.
Yeah, no, he's dope and makes us feel dope. That's what he
Um,
does.
I have a different Hunter in the top 10, and you have him in this next group, but that starts with number 11, George Kirby, number 12, Shohei Ohtani, number 13, Freddie Peralta, number 14, Carlos Rodon, number 15, Hunter Brown. Why do you still hate Hunter Brown?
Well, because you can't really tell him why he's great.
Yes.
And the thing is, the fastball velocity went up more than we expected this year, and then it came down as apparently Cashew has a hairball. If you can hear that. Oh boy, don't do it over me. Okay. Cashew, you okay? All right, you good? Yeah. All right. Come on out. You got it. That's Cashew, my lovely cat. So when it comes to Hunter Brown, it's just, I'm not saying he's an ace. I mean, 15 is pretty aggressive. It's more that I think that his secondaries are still heavily in question. And I think his four-seamer and sinker are what leads the way, but not in the same way that Brian Wu does, where it's much more of a what are you going to have in this game? And the curveball, I believe the cutter and the changeup, if I remember correctly, with Hunter Brown, not always there. So it's just more, I don't quite believe it. I think it was more high velocity that kind of fell actually as the year went on.
Okay.
And I'm not quite as excited. Still 15 means that, yeah, fine. You should be great for your teams throughout the year.
Sure. I get that. Shohei Ohtani, I assume a lot of this is also just connected to roles. Like we don't,
Right.
it's hard to know
Shohei
if he's
would
gonna
actually
go more than
initially
5
had
innings
him.
at a time or,
Yeah. I initially had him in that top 10, in that first AGA one
I
tier.
did too.
So I was like, all right. But then again, I don't know. Yeah, I don't know what to make of it. So there is some question mark there. But yeah,
Yeah.
you should be
I
starting
moved him to
immediately.
14. You have him at 12.
Yeah, great. Awesome.
I could move him down a little bit, maybe.
Yeah.
I don't really know. I mean, it's a big question. And then I would just say Freddie Peralta, like, you know, I have him at 18th. You have him at 13th. Maybe
Yep.
I'm not fully buying into like the changes he made this year that made him a little less chaotic.
I mean, it's just more that Freddie Peralta has just always been good. You know,
Yeah,
it's not,
for sure.
you haven't really been massively burned by him. And it's just, I got to stop saying that, well, no, he's always going to be this. He's always going to be, I'm like, he's not. He's just kind of succeeding constantly. And there's a floor to be said about that. And the thing is, the next tier is AGA Cherry Bomb, where they're going to essentially be associated as Ace is going to ace. But I feel like out of the gate, they need to do something to either prove that they're healthy or that they're okay. Like it's a little bit of a mishmash of what we need from them. Like if they were healthy to start the year, then they already have the Ace is going to ace tier. While a couple other ones are just, we think you should get there, but we need to see something first.
Fair. So that Ace is going to ace, Ace is going to ace Cherry Bomb tier. Starts at number 16, Chris Sale, number 17, Jacob deGrom, number 18, Jacob Mizorowski, number 19, Tyler Glasnow, number 20, Yuri Perez, number 21, Blake Snell. I took Jacob deGrom in that staff draft too, so I was looking this up. deGrom finished by the Fangraphs player rater, and again, we look at those, we don't rank so much based on those, but he finished as the 12th ranked starter this year.
I'm actually surprised it's that low.
And it's because he had 12 wins.
Right.
And guys above him, like Max Fried had 19 wins, Rodon had 18 wins, Freddie Peralta had 17 wins, Brian Wu had 15 wins. We did this last year with Kevin Gossman, where he was high on the player rater because he had an ungodly amount of wins. But deGrom threw 172 in a third innings, struck out 185, had a 2.97 ERA, a 0.92 whip. If deGrom finishes with 14 wins or 15 wins,
yeah,
he's a top 8 starting pitcher in fantasy baseball this year. And you had him as a top 6, I believe, starter entering last year.
Yep.
So why now is he down at 17?
Well, it's because he just did 170 innings.
Phase is over, and now
right. That's kind of, I mean, this is the really tough part is I try to not I try to kind of understand the pendulum swings as much as I can. So with deGrom last year, it was, well, hold on. He came back for 3 games, showcased that his elbow was healthy. This is the healthiest he's been because a lot of the injuries had been attached to his arm not being great. And I'm so glad he had this amazing season. But it's hard to now say, great, you're going to do that again. That felt, I mean, I think everybody that followed the season was like, this is exceptional. This was a lower probability in their minds. And I get that. I put him at 6 because I felt it was a higher probability. At the same time, doing that twice is really difficult to say, right? And that's why Chris Sale's also in this too. I don't know innings wise. I don't know innings wise of Blake Snell. I don't know innings wise of Tyler Glasnow. It's not to say that you should go really down into it and project exactly this and this is what you're getting and stuff. No. It's just that the ones in the first 3 tiers just have a much better track record and it's a bit safer as far as the volume goes. And I hate that because it's the hardest thing we do as fantasy managers is try to predict how many innings a guy will get.
Right.
I also cannot overlook when it comes to the probability scale, where are we on it on percentage of hitting 170 innings or so? DeGrom and Sale and Glasnow and Snell are much lower than the ones above.
Yeah. Yes, I fully get that. I understand that. There's a guy in your next tier, I think, ties into that as well. Yuri Perez, obviously, we got him back this year and there were some inconsistencies, but that was what we wanted, was to see him flash the upside. And then now he's got a full healthy offseason under his belt. And so I think him in the top 20 makes tons of sense.
That was a tough one I struggled with, Yuri Perez, because there's a part of me that wants to put him down into even as close to 30 because we really haven't seen him take that step with the secondaries quite yet. And then on the other side, I'm thinking, well, this is a 180 inning guy going, just consistently with one of the best 4-seamers in the majors. And that as your foundation, while also seeing a past of having good swing and miss ability, you would think he would take a step forward in his second season. And then I look at the more boring ones that don't really have the same 30% strikeout potential in the next tier. And it's just, well, he should be above those guys. So I really struggled with where exactly to put Erie. But at the end of the day, this might be the riskiest one I'm taking because of he has not done the thing yet.
Mm-hmm.
While Jacob Mizorowski, it's like, you are dope and make us feel dope. And you've gone through the rugged nature of your rookie season. And yeah, you are going to start every 5 days for the Brewers. You might be still babied a little in some fashion, but you really are just stupid good, Jacob Mizorowski, and I can't turn that down.
I get that. Yeah. I have Mizorowski slightly lower than you, but not by too much. I have to ask you, just because I'm seeing this in the comments, and I'm also seeing this as a person that you or I did not rank at all, and I wonder if he should be.
I did.
In this area.
Oh, I thought I did. How did I not?
But it is
put him in.
It is.
Oh
Garrett
my gosh!
Cole.
Wait, did I really not?
Yes.
Oh, it's because it got eliminated from here. He is actually, yeah. When it comes to injury stashes, injured players, I essentially in my top 200 in October put them clump them all together, and I can't tell you exactly what to do with it yet. Right. I'm like, look, this will change because we'll get information in February and March, and that will affect how we're going to rank him and whatnot. I will mention Garrett Cole should not be in this area. Why? We just saw with Spencer Strider what kind of happens. And I will also say that Garrett Cole has shown flashes of not being his former self post sticky stuff. Not to say that it was bad, but having to be a different pitcher. And not the 30% strikeout rate plus guy of demanding a 2.5 ERA and a 0.9 whip or something like that. He'll obviously help your teams when you have him. But then when is it going to be? I don't know when he's going to start. And then when he comes back, it'll be a little frustrating at first. And then is he going to have the same fastball? I don't know. It's up in the air. We did not get the 3 starts or whatever in September that we have from other guys. So I will be putting him around 50 is what I'm going to tell you. I'm actually going to add that right now for you so you can reference that.
There you go. That's the answer if you were asking about Garrett Cole. And yes, Spencer Strider, you'll hear his name way later in this episode. Ace is going to ace Holly tier. Number 22, Joe Ryan. Number 23, Pablo Lopez. Number 24, Kyle Bradish. Number 25, Shota Imanaga. Number 26, Michael King. Number 27, Shane Bieber. Number 28, Brandon Woodruff.
Yes. Is there anyone that sticks out to you here? I mean, these are all the ones that I think, okay, yeah, Bradish and Bieber passed their Tommy John stuff, and they're like, they're too far in the careers for them not to be able to go every 5 days. Yeah, Brandon Woodruff, who I don't quite believe the success that he's had. It just seems a little odd at like 93 on both fastballs, but I can't deny the fact that he's been as effective as he has been. I might ultimately be putting him into the 2 tiers down, so not the cherry bomb team that's next, but more of the Holly one. Joe Ryan, we all know kind of he gets worse as the season goes on. It's probably because home run rates go up, but he also could be changing teams. And the four-seamer is getting better every year, and he's working on secondary stuff, and they faded in the second half. It could also be a morale thing. I just feel like you have Joe Ryan and you'll be happy. So he's still there at 22.
Yeah, I have Bradish 19th. So I have him a little higher than you. I think he looked pretty good when he came back, and I'm approaching him in the kind of the same way I would have approached DeGrom this year, of like, was out for a long time. I saw healthy starts. I saw the stuff looked pretty close to what I remember seeing, before the injury. I expect him to be locked into a rotation. I expect that team to be competitive again next year. I like the park from a pitching standpoint. And so Bradish feels like a pretty solid top 20 guy to me, because prior to the injuries, I think he was probably a top 20 guy. But again, the difference between 19 and 24 is super negligible. I have Michael King 15th.
Yeah.
And maybe it's just because I can't get over the fact that I had him as a top 10 guy this year, and I thought he still was pretty talented. And obviously this, like, he slept wrong on his shoulder, which turned into like a 3-month injury. Maybe I need to lower him down.
Well, it's tough. Just to put a pin on the Bradish thing. Slider and curve are great. Fastballs are still weird. And that always gets me a little, if you don't have fastballs kind of leading the way, it can make for more of a volatile season than you would want. So I'm actually even looking at this. I want Blake Snell in the cherry bomb tier. What am I doing? That's routine at this point. And I could just put myself having Yuri Perez outside that cherry bomb tier too. And there you go. We kind of are in the same place at 22 then. Maybe Pablo Lopez versus Bradish, Joe Bryan versus Bradish is all, okay. Shane Bieber the same way. With Bieber, a part of me is like, oh, I like this more because I kind of trust Bieber's command the way I watched him a lot. But Bradish, it's weird. Both Bieber and Bradish have amazing breaking balls. I find myself liking Bradish's more, but I might ultimately want Shane Bieber ahead, especially if he goes to a team that really helps him. Shota Imanaga has just kind of been the guy that is not a 30% strikeout rate guy, but with 3 pitches. Hopefully the dead end ball still exists in some fashion. Right. Make us all look great. So they're all there. And then Michael King, problem there is that he's a command focused arm. And he even took him in 2024 about 6-7 starts to really get into form of being a command arm. And to have such a lost season, it isn't automatic that all of a sudden Michael King will jump back into what he was before. I still love it. I still think he's a very, very talented pitcher, but he needs to get both his sweeper and changeup working. He needs to be able to spot the sinkers and then kind of get away with that 4-seamer.
Yeah. Now am I going back on this? Did Pablo Lopez he made a final start
roster
and got hurt, right?
He got hurt, and then he made some starts to end the year. Yeah.
But then he got hurt in the last start too.
His elbow, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Oh, I need to put that into consideration. I totally forgot about that.
He had a forearm strain.
Oh, fun.
Right?
All right. I need to look into that one. I thank you so much. I completely forgot about that. You're right. Oh, Pablo.
Yeah.
How could I forget
that?
I
was doing the same thing where I was like looking at this and I was like, oh, Pablo Lopez. And I was looking at where I have him ranked, and I have him ranked with guys like Eovaldi and Schwellenbach and Bubic, where I'm like, I really like you, but you ended the season.
This is injury stash. I'm just putting him in injury stash 1 right now. Yeah. So I'm just changing this as I go. All right. So we have other guys to talk about. And also Eric and I have to make a pick in our drafts.
Oh,
we're going to do that after this break. All right. So Eric, I need to make a pick. I
So
don't
I'll read off
know.
your next
You're going to
tier
help
list.
me make my pick. Okay.
You make
You're going to help this. You know me. I am very much a hitter only guy. So right in the beginning, I don't care. I am going to emphasize this. I was really hoping for Ketel Marte. I'm tempted to go just Jazz Chisholm and call it a day here at second base. Unless you really think that Bryce Terang is this forever. I think Jazz Chisholm is just a really, good run RBI totals. He's pretty much just helps across the board, save for the average.
You shouldn't take him because I was going to take him.
Okay, good. That's exactly what I wanted to hear. Thank you so much. And that is done.
Yeah.
Has he already been taken? Yeah, he was already taken. Sorry. I saw
I just see him in the corner.
Yeah, I didn't see it because I thought second base would be the thing. Okay, he's already taken. So it wasn't going to be a good pick. I'm really great. This is the content you guys want, right? We're not going to save this for the podcast. Absolutely not. And then I just want to keep the draft going, guys. We're doing our pitcher list mock that for everybody so that we can get this out and have some early understandings of rankings. And okay, I mean, death taxes and Freddie Freeman, right? Just being a stalwart. He went through whatever he did. Healthier Freddie Freeman makes too much sense. I'm going to do that. Done. Your pick, Eric.
Like Pete Crow Armstrong is staring me in the face, but I already have so much volatility with Ellie De La Cruz. I have too much volatility with Ellie De La Cruz and Jackson Churio, so I'm going to go just good old-fashioned, boring old dude, and I'm going to take Manny Machado.
Wonderful.
Okay.
Okay, done.
Oh, I should fill out the
I gotcha.
The show sheet.
Good. Okay. All right.
We'll start again here. 27 minutes in, we're going to go with Nick's next tier. So the Cherry Bomb tier starts with now it's number 27, Blake Snell, who was just added here. Number 28, Cam Schlittler. Number 29, Dylan Cease. Number 30, Nick Pivetta. Number 31, Bubba Chandler. Number 32, Ryan Pepio. Number 33, Chase Burns. This is awesome because after the Cam Schlittler performance against the Red Sox, I recorded a video with James Schiano, and I said to James, Cam Schlittler, Bubba Chandler, Chase Burns, Nolan McLean, how do you rank them based on, going into next year? He had Cam Schlittler first. I had Bubba Chandler first.
Well, that's not awesome because I wanted to agree with you.
Why'd
you put Bubba in ahead of Cam?
I don't know, man. Like I can't watch that start and not say Cam Schlittler is filthy. Like he's filthy. I think that I am trying to say I like both these guys. I have them in the same exact tier. So it's personal preference. If I'm on the clock and both of those guys are there, I don't want this magical velo bump for Cam Schlittler that led to this breakout season, which led to this impressive performance at the end of the year for the Yankees, override, hey, Bubba Chandler's been one of the best pitching prospects in baseball for multiple years now, and also looked really good when he was finally given a shot with the Pirates. And so even though neither one of them has a long track record, it almost feels like Bubba Chandler has a safer track record because
I get that.
He's been doing this at this high level for a little bit longer.
Right.
But again, like I have them back to back, and I will just say I have them at 41 and 42. So I guess I'm not as aggressive as you on saying like I'm going after these guys that don't have the MLB innings.
So I mean, that's more of a conversation about like the safe ones, right?
Right.
And the way I see this is I'm trying to limit as many as I can of like, cool, I'm just going to go and take these chances on young guys. And actually the next tier is from 34 to 47 for that reason.
Yeah, and I will just say, I have them ranked. I think a big reason I have them ranked under my Schwellenbach, Pablo Lopez,
injured tier.
Of like you're injured and I don't know what to do with you. And so if I just did that, now all of a sudden they're 33 and 34.
Beautiful.
Which is
Okay, so then
Basically,
we
right,
understand that. Yeah. There's an injury tier, guys, from 60 to 67, which is Pablo Lopez, Chris Bubich, Spencer Schmellenbach, Joe Musgrove, Reese Olson, Grayson Rodriguez, Justin Steele, Zach Wheeler. I put Garrett Cole out of it. I'm actually not even going to do that. I don't even care anymore. I'm just going to put Garrett Cole a part of that thing because that just makes more sense. Like, what am I doing here? So that is your, those are the guys that are going to change later on, and we'll talk about that then. For me, it's a case where Cam is going to be going constantly into games as he just did. He just did it, right? We're not going to have the question marks of like, all right, is he going to be babied 5 innings, 6 innings? Like, no, they're just going to go with him. I would say there is a heightened injury risk with him because of the just was what we saw with Schwellenbach, for example, of a lot more innings. I mean, not as much of a jump, but throwing that hard quickly, and it does sound some alarms in my head. But I'm trying as much as I can not to listen to that as much because I think leaning into those things, I'm not going to predict this perfectly. I'm just not. And at the end of the day, he has 3-pitch mix that works for a winning team that lets him go every 5 days and lets him go 90 pitches. He also threw that velocity consistently. It wasn't like he just peaked at the end for a couple starts. Like the second he showed up, he was throwing 97 to 98 and then just held that, right? And that's a huge, huge difference in my view. Bubba Chandler, honestly, wins. It's wins. And there's even, you can even say that he won't go 6-7 innings like Cam will, right? Now, as far as quality per inning, I probably would give Bubba Chandler the nod because he has been that good. The one thing I'm a little disappointed about is that his slider gets overshadowed a bit. And it's like 88 or so, which is great, but it's not like a 91 just death. Oh my gosh, you're donezo. It's that 4-seamer that's just really, really great, right? For the most part. And then he does have a little bit of a wide arse, and I'm not saying that he doesn't. But that's really what the decider is for me. While Cam, the cutter has been really effective from the curveball has, but that 4-seamer is just dissolving, or sorry, just decimating guys, right? So that's kind of where I am on that. Really, the harder problem was Dylan Cease and Nick Pivetta. I'm like, I don't know what to do with you. I think Pivetta just had a career year. I mean, he did, but like not one to be repeated necessarily. Dylan Cease, we all know, was so bad and shouldn't be bad. And then he heads to a new team. And I love that. It's a complete blank slate. It really gets to, not just be with a team like a free agent, or sorry, like a trade it that it was last over the offseason. This is actually just 2 years, I should say. A real team that he invests in himself. And that could very well mean something new and better. So that's what pulled me toward Dylan Cease there. And then Ryan Pepio and Chase Burns. I think I'm going to have Ryan Pepio everywhere. Because if you take this season, which actually wasn't nearly as bad as we like to say, and then say, look, you're not in George Steinbrenner Field anymore.
Right.
You're in Tropicana. I am stoked. I am so amped for that. And Chase Burns, at the end of the day, I'm like, am I overvaluing a guy that throws 100 with an unbelievable slider and also found his command and like showcased who he was once he got over the jitters of being a starter? No, the children aren't wrong. So I am like, yeah, I have to throw you into this. And
so
what you'll
let me
see with
ask you,
all of them is that, sorry?
He's not here, but I consider him connected to these guys. I'm curious why you don't believe Nolan McLean is
interesting.
Is in this group, that group of 3 guys.
There's another name that I really, really was tempted to. And also, I mean, there's a couple, even the Frizzle tier that we'll get to. Like, you can make an argument for all of those also to be inside of it, including, of course, Trey Savage.
Right.
And that one, Trey Savage is about because you're splitter focused. I think there's just going to be more variability start to start that I don't want to put above the Holly tier.
Yeah.
Nolan McLean. That's a little trickier because I see him without the fastballs of the others. Chase Burns, Ryan Pepio, Bubba Chandler, Nick Pivetta, Dylan Cease, Cam Schlittler, Blake Snell all have better fastballs than Nolan McLean. And Nolan is more of a secondary kind of guy. Cool. He has had a longer history of being volatile when it comes to his locations. I'm so glad he did well. Don't get me wrong. I think it's awesome what he did. I think it's too small of a sample for me to believe, based on what he throws, that this is going to actually be there for a full season.
Okay. That's fair. Let's jump into that Holly tier. We already talked about some of these guys, but it's number 34, Robbie Ray, 35, Logan Webb, 36, Framber Valdez, 37, Aaron Nola, 38, Drew Rasmussen, 39, Ranger Suarez, 40, Nick Lodolo, 41, Kevin Gossman, 42, Sonny Gray, 43, Edward Cabrera, 44, Sandy Alcantara, 45, Nolan McLean, 46, Bryce Miller, 47, our boy Gavin Williams. I guess the biggest difference, I have Drew Rasmussen 10 spots higher than you.
Yeah, I might. I don't know where to put him. I really
think
don't.
It's like he shouldn't get pulled at 5 innings next year. And so,
well, I mean, right. But here's the thing. He still went about 150 innings.
Right.
And the Rays might just see this and go, this is how we use them.
So it's just a difference in our rankings. I have Logan Webb, Framber Valdez, Drew Rasmussen in a small tier above the like Imanaga, Cease range of like.
Oh, so you trust those guys more than Imanaga?
It's a little bit more of like, I think I'm going to get decent production out of you guys and you're not as volatile. And
they are volatile. That's the problem.
But I don't think they're volatile over the course of a whole season. Like Logan Webb, we kind of know what he is. Like maybe Framber is becoming a little more volatile. I don't think of Drew Rasmussen as being
that
volatile. Like
well, right, I'm with you there. Match. So like for me, this is all right. Just close your eyes and look at the end of the year. But like Logan Webb was not looking like Logan Webb's second half. Like the first half of Logan Webb was absurd. He was all of a sudden like a 25%, 30% strikeout rate guy, full 4 pitch mix. Second half, far more inconsistent. It was really tough with Logan Webb at the end. And to me, it's just, all right, you look at the history of Logan Webb, that first half feels more like the outlier than everything else. With Framber Valdez, it's so dependent on the curveball. Like it is hilarious to me how Framber Valdez went from 2024 of bad first half, amazing second half to amazing first half, bad second half, and always just based on do you have your curveball feel or not. And him getting out of Houston, don't know if that's a good thing because the defense has been very good routinely for Framber there and good win chance, everything like that. I don't know where he's going to go. And I don't know if that's going to help him or not. So those two guys are definitely volatile in my view and don't have 25 to 30% strikeout upside, at least as high of a chance of everyone else kind of above, or especially even the AJ Holly tier, the 5th tier that I've made already. Right. So that's kind of why I have them down to this one is they are more valuable in your 15 teamers. And I understand the 15 teamers are going to likely have those guys higher. That one of the big deciding points or the major lessons that I talked out with Eno was that I actually noticed, and we noticed really that the premium volume arms who are not stud 25% plus strikeout rates, all the kind of stuff that you really expect them to be amazing. They're just like, they're very good in volume. So they're going to go higher.
Right.
Or much worse value in your drafts than the second tier of those, right? The Matthew Boyds, the Merrill Kelly, the Nathan Eovaldi's, Andrew Abbott's, those kinds of arms really took over. Christopher Sanchez actually was away from your Valdez, your Webb, right? Your Nola, your Luis Castillo, your even George Kirby, right? Those ones are not as valuable as we are making them, is my point. So I think the need for me to rank them above the other guys that have that 30% strikeout rate upside is lessened.
Yeah, I get that. And I think that's where like these tiers will shift, right, as we get closer. And like, that's why we do it. That's why you have convinced me to do it in tiers. And that's why it's like, sometimes you have a huge jump when you're just like, oh yeah, philosophically, I just can't rank this tier ahead of that other tier. And so I get that. Gavin Williams, I mean, we chatted about this, like his last like 15 starts of the season. I mean, I think it was like a 287 ERA with like a 109 whip, something stupid.
Yeah.
And then you're just kind of like, but you watch him and you understand that he's still figuring out who he is as a pitcher, and it's not like consistent. And so I agree with you. Like, you have him 47th. I have him 45th. I have him in a tier with Edward Cabrera, Trey Savage, or Savage, Bryce Miller, guys who I'm like, there is upside here. I just don't know what's happening week to week. But like,
I like
I'll
to
be in
believe.
on Gavin Williams again.
So I mean, this is the maybe this is a thing that I kind of overlook, and maybe I try and not overlook. I am. It's a blind spot or a bias that I shouldn't have, which is with Eric Cabrera, Bryce Miller, Gavin Williams. I am expecting them to be better, right? And that itself is something that I do a little too often, maybe in my rankings, of saying this guy I like because he should be better than he was, while this guy I think should be worse than he was. And sometimes I should just be saying, look, the track record said this is who this guy is, and we're going to bank on that. And that is a better play either way, right? So Eric Cabrera, Bryce Miller, Gavin Williams, I'm maybe not putting in enough risk for that. And maybe there should be a distinction right at Sonny Gray. And maybe I just make those guys all frizzles, right? And just really extend that tier. And actually, that kind of makes sense in my view. Because, I mean, I didn't know what to do with Kevin Gausman. I hate this.
I have Gausman 44th.
Yeah.
You have him
41.
41. And it's the same thing where I was like, I don't
like
know.
The reason I have the Helly tier and the Frizzle tier kind of separated, though, is because of volume. You know, I expect 5 every 5 days, 6 innings. Like, that is kind of their bread and butter at this point. They should be able to just consistently do that, while the other ones in the next tier, innings are much more of a question mark. And that's why I have that distinction.
Yeah. And so that next tier that you're talking about, the Frizzle tier, number 48, Tatsuya Imai, number 49, Troy Melton, number 50, Trey Savage, number 51, Emmett Sheehan, number 52, Connolly Early. I will admit I have not yet really looked into Tatsuya Imai, so I don't have him ranked because it felt disingenuous to rank a pitcher that I haven't looked up at all. Troy Melton, I didn't rank because I didn't even think about him in the Tigers rotation, and I should go back and do that. We already talked about Trey Savage. I have Emmett Sheehan in the same area you do, and then I took your ranking as permission to rank Connolly Early with like the Bryce Miller, Trey Savage, Edward Cabrera tier. And I think that I took my Red Sox fan glasses off for a second, where Peyton Tolle is the like sexy prospect for the Red Sox. Like, he's the one that all Red Sox fans are like, this guy is the guy. And that's because of just how he emerged this year. He just flew through the system. He was electric. But I do think, like, if you step back and look at the two of them as pitchers, Connolly Early is more advanced. He looked far more ready. Yes. And I think he's much, much, much likelier to start the year in the rotation. I do not think that the Boston Red Sox go into the 2026 season with 2 prospect starters in the rotation.
Yeah. So I mean, that's
only 1 spot for Early and Toll, and I think it's going to be Early.
Yeah. That's exactly what I kind of went through. The fact of the matter is that Tolle needs more pitches. It's really just 4-seamer right now. And he technically has other things, but it's just pounding with a 4-seamer, which is an elite 4-seamer. But as Yuri Perez showed you at times this year, that you need to have more. You need to have something else. And I think that Tolle is in the right place with Garrett Crochet. And hopefully he has that proper cutter and 2-seamer, and hopefully, a reliable breaking ball as Crochet does eventually. But I think out of the gates, it might be something where Tolle actually is in that rotation, while Connolly Early is he's well-rounded. He has the velocity. He has all the pitches. He's you're going to see this in my rankings this year is I'm not chasing inside my top. I have the injury stashed here,
right?
But I'm not really going after super risky things. I'm saying that the I normally say, where is the cliff? Where is the moment that you really chase things? And it's actually really at like 65, 70 this year, as opposed to
Which
like 50 as it has been before.
I love that you said 65, 70, because my 65, 66, 67 is Spencer Strider, Mackenzie Gore, Kodai Senga. And
Oh
I
yeah,
feel like
okay.
that's just like, I don't know, man. Like,
Well,
sure.
right. So for this Frizzle tier, I mean, you're probably wondering, right? So Savage, as I mentioned before, I have a little more question marks. I love Troy Melton on paper. Troy Melton also is one of those guys I've actually fallen negatively for in the past, where it's not like Bubba Chandler or Cam Schlittler who is throwing the greatest fastball in the majors,
Right.
right? He has everything that is really good, but it's not. He needs to make sure that's polished. Then, Jackson Jobe was actually something like this last year, where it was hard velocity, but it wasn't, 6 feet of extension. It wasn't the most overpowering one, with a cutter that looked amazing. A curveball looked amazing. It's like, great, you're still young. You haven't necessarily put it all together. So even at 49, I'm actually even saying to myself right now, I should probably have him at like 68.
Mhm.
I should be pushing him down because I'm wish casting too much of this development. At the same time, I mean, I watch some of these games and it's just like, it's so easy for him. And I don't know. I don't know where I'm going to land there. Emmett Sheehan, I know that this guy's a phenomenal pitcher. It's also not as wide of a breadth of an arsenal I want to see. And what are the Dodgers going to do? I have no idea. It might be another season of like no regular starts from Emmett Sheehan, and we don't know if he is part of a 6-man or not or whatever. And I don't know if I want to deal with that.
Right.
So, gosh. And when it comes to I mean, I'll just say this: if he were to be posted right now, Jeff Passan said he'd get a contract for about 150 million. Okay, it doesn't matter what else I say here.
Right.
That means that this guy is valuable. All right. That means they're relying on him to be a reliable starter for their teams, which means, yes, that means he's good. And is like, honestly, if he signs, then he really should be at the top of the Holly tier, if not higher. Like inside the top 30 or whatever, if he does.
Right.
It's not necessarily true that he will, though. He could easily just wait until next year. There's some complications that we don't know. And that means, okay, he is a frizzle. You're taking a chance. So 48 is where he has there. So I mean, that's what I'm going through with this frizzle tier. I think at the end of the day, this tier might just get completely destroyed, or I might even take a cherry bomb guy and some of the frizzle thing and then make a new one in between the hollies. I don't know. I don't know exactly what I'm going to do with this, but this is where I am at the moment.
Yeah. A couple interesting ones in your next tier, which is the Toby Upside 1 tier. Number 53, Trevor Rogers. Number 54, Andrew Abbott. Number 55, Kodai Senga. Number 56, Cade Horton. Number 57, Noah Cameron. Number 58, Matthew Boyd. For me, I think this is where it's like, it's just a rankings philosophy difference where like, I have Trevor Rogers 41. I have Andrew Abbott 42. I have Cade Horton 43. They were all guys who like just pitched really well. And I think we're just kind of rock solid. And Trevor Rogers, like we've seen be really good before. And I was maybe wrong to just assume he couldn't be that guy. Cade Horton was one of the top pitching prospects in baseball. And now I'm kind of looking at him like, oh, hey, you're boring, but you're effective. And it's like, well, why can't he be better next year? Like he's still very young. And so really I have those guys a little higher because they just continue to produce.
Yeah, no, honestly, you could be very much right here. I mean, even looking at, as I was talking about the Frizzles guys, right? Of like, I'm too high on this. Like, this is solid, Nick. Don't you want this? This should be very productive for you. And I have more to say about them because it's kind of hard to decide what even order they should be in. And I'll tell you all about that after this break. So I might actually be, I see this right now. Trevor Rogers, 100% should be in that Holly tier. Cade Horton is a frizzle that I should have because I think Cade Horton can be better. Cade Horton certainly got fortunate this year. He also had the best defense behind him. And the Cubs in general, if you notice, I even like, as we were talking, I updated and put Matthew Boyd in this tier because the Cubs defense is great and helps these guys. And we should not ignore that. Noah Cameron's also in here. And he's an interesting one because I think a lot of people see the velocity. They don't really think he's that good. but his command is actually very, very good with a wide arsenal. And he utilizes that 92, 93 mile per hour fastball well. He doesn't try to do everything with it. He has a changeup away. He's a southpaw with a changeup, right? Which I still really haven't sold myself on what name I'm going to give that. I want to say a Boyer because of Boyd and Jamie Moyer, but I don't know. We'll see. Really, the whole thing about this is, do we go after these Toby upside ones, or do we go for the frizzles? Because if there's so many guys to choose from, why not take a chance and try and get something that's better than the other one, right? And it's tough, but I think I'm going to be siding with the Toby upside tier and try to just out of the gate have a rock solid team and then rely on my waiver wire additions to put myself over the edge in season.
I think I am just understanding myself and know that I tend to shoot for that upside with like my early picks, right? Like I want the guys that get tons of strikeouts early on. And so when I get to like this part of the draft, I don't often have the like Logan Webb's or George Kirby's or whatever, where, I mean, George Kirby's not the same, but you know what I mean? Like I don't have the guys where you're like, okay, this guy feels pretty safe. And so like I have a tier that's called You're Boring, but You Feel Safe. And it's like Noah Cameron, Matthew Boyd, even like Merrill Kelly. And there are some guys where I'm like, yeah, like even a 12 teamer, if I'm at my like SP4, SP5 range, I'm probably taking guys like that because they're just going to be there and they're just going to produce. And like, I expected Noah Cameron to falter multiple times this year and he just kept producing. And we've talked a lot about getting this like metric or whatever going where we can like try to accurately predict, but also qualify these like lefties that have really good command and a plus changeup. And in a right-handed dominant sport, like that's really valuable.
Yep. Yeah. It's like Andrew Abbott's in there, right? It's like, okay, it was coming off a little bit. We don't know. And Kodai Senga is just better than what we've seen. I mean, that's really at the end of the day, like he's better than this. And I very much believe in Kodai Senga, especially if it's, you know, again, this is all assuming health and everything's normal at the start of the season. He's in the rotation every 5 days, winning ball club, going to do well. I like that. That's cool.
That is cool. What's also cool, what's not cool, sorry, I skipped ahead. What's not cool is this injury tier because all these guys are hurt and that's not cool, but I'll go through them quickly. We're not going to talk about these guys because the whole point is that they're injured right now and we don't yet know when they're going to be healthy or whatever. And so that's number 59, Garrett Cole, number 60, Pablo Lopez, number 61, Chris Bubich, number 62, Spencer Schwellenbach, number 63, Joe Musgrove, number 64, Reese Olson, 65, Grayson Rodriguez, 66, Justin Steele, 67, Zach Wheeler. I'll just push back and say, like, I don't think Zach Wheeler should be near here because I
know. I just wanted to know, like, he's an elite talent,
year,
but like,
yeah, but it is it's meaningless, whatever. It is what it is. So the fun tier, this is where you start taking your like,
this is not my fun tier. This is like, oh gosh.
Right. This is where hopefully you've gotten to the point in your draft where you have a solid enough starting rotation where you could say, oh, what the heck? Like, let's take one of these guys. And if it doesn't pan out, I'm not hurt. And this was my issue this year is like these type of pitchers. I started taking them. I waited and I took like 3 of them as like my SP 4, 5, 6. And I was like, okay, if 2 of these guys hit, I'm going to crush. And then the reality is that there's often a chance where none of them will hit. And then you are really kind of in a bad way. And so that right now starts with number 69, Andrew Painter, number 70, Shane Baz, number 71, Peyton Tolley, number 72, Mick Abel, number 73, Spencer Strider, number 74, Mackenzie Gore, 75, Jack Flaherty, 76, Zebby Matthews, 77, Jonah Tong, 78, Jack Leiter. These are all basically guys that for a brief period in time this year, we were head over heels in love with them, and they didn't really deliver. And next year, maybe they will.
Yeah. I mean, the problem about this is that Andrew Painter, Shane Baz, to me, I'm actually like Shane Baz, I'm actually really into. You know, I think that he's going to be so good next year. I just have no idea where to put him. And then I feel like this is the hipster tier because you don't know what to do with him. I put out a tweet that said, hey, look, Have we ever seen a guy with an elite fastball, like, and then all of a sudden get Tommy John, come back, have a worse four-seamer, like by both velocity and vert, and then regain it the next year? And I found no examples. And that's kind of scary, right? That's Spencer Strider. And I think we're going to go through the same kind of, it's not quite what we want. And at this point in your drafts, you're not trying to draft the 70th best starter at the end of your play rater, right? This is where you're like, all right, I want a guy that's like a top 30, top 40, and must hold. And if you're going to say to me, okay, well, Strider will have his moments and then it won't be, and it won't, like, I don't want that. I will go and find something else then, something else that can be better than where their draft pick is. So that's really what the mentality is. So Mick Abel to me is a guy that I think is legit. I think is, once he gets his feet underneath him, he gets the rotation spot, great. Is he going to have a rotation spot? I don't know. And Jack Flaherty is like, he can take that step again, but I don't really know what to do with that. Zebby Matthews, I've been more and more down on because he's kind of that same problem I was describing with Troy Melton, where there's nothing quite exceptional enough,
right,
to really go in that next step of like, hey, cool, command inside the zone with your massive amount of tools. You don't have the thing that a lot of earlier pitchers have of just, I throw this, you lose. Jonah Tong's kind of like that too, with this four-seamer and Vulcan changeup. And Jack Leiter, oh my gosh. Jack Leiter, I feel like Jack Leiter should be absurdly good next year.
Yeah.
Like he has all the things. I'm even talking like it is with Zebby Matthews. Take his stuff and double it for Jack Leiter. But Jack Leiter does not know where it's going half the time. And oh gosh, it's so frustrating because he should just be so good.
Mm-hmm.
And then you have, of course, Peyton Tolle. But does he have a rotation spot? I don't know.
Right. And I also, I mean, we talked about like, oh, it's Peyton Tolle or it's Connolly early. And it's like, actually, it's probably Kyle Harrison.
Yeah.
I mean,
Kyle Harrison. Oh, man.
They gave up, I mean, they didn't give up Devers to get Kyle Harrison. Like they gave up Devers to give up Devers.
Yeah, to get Dustin May eventually. Yeah.
Yeah. But Kyle Harrison was a big part of that return. He's still very young. They're very clearly invested in him. I think if push comes to shove, I think the Red Sox would hope you see Kyle Harrison before you see Connolly early or Peyton Tolle. Now, who knows how that works out? But that to me is like, Peyton Tolle, I don't know that he's up before like June or July. Like I just don't know that.
It's incredibly possible that that's just how it works out.
I'll just move to the next tier because I have a tier that a lot of these guys are in that I call young and fun and irresponsible. And that's like a lot of these like young pitchers who are like, I just can't invest too much in them because they're going to let you down like young people do. And so some of these guys are also in the next tier. You have number 79, Ryan Weathers, number 80, Joey Cantillo, 81, Will Warren, 82, Zach Gallen, 83, Luis Castillo, 84, Seth Lugo, 85, Merrill Kelly, 86, Sawyer Gibson Long, 87, Cade Povich, 88, Ian Seymour, 89, Shane Smith, 90, Lucas Giolito, 91, Brian Bayo, 92, Quinn Priester, 93, Parker Messick. I'll just say that like the young guys in this tier, I had in the tier above. It doesn't make a difference, but that's like the Weathers, Cantillo, Will Warren. I just like put them with Jack Leiter and with
I'm
Andrew
looking at this
Painter
now.
and guys like that.
I'm just looking at this now. I'm like, I'm doing this wrong. This should be split in half and joining Shane Baz and Andrew Painter. And maybe I go with Jack Leiter. And then the second half should join the other guys. Like Zach Gallen and Will Warren and Cantillo and Weathers should just be with those other ones, of course. I mean, even throw Sawyer Gibson Long in there. And then your Seth Lugo, Merrill Kelly, Cade Povich. I'm like, that could actually be legitimate upside of like, this just is great and works out. So Cade Povich is my deeper one, but I'd say like Povich, Seymour, Smith, Giolito, Bayo, Priester, Messick are like, okay, fine. That's not as, we can push that one aside, but Jack Flaherty should be a part of that. Zebby Matthews should be a part of that. Jonah Tong should, that's kind of how I should be, doing this one here.
Yeah, I also now I'm looking at this and I'm like, I had forgotten about Ian Seymour, and so I think he needs to be in that tier that I
Right.
had with like the Will Warren, Cantillo, Tong, whatever, because Ian Seymour was pretty good, and I don't know if he's going to have a rotation spot, but at this point, when you're just kind of like, you know, in the 80s or 90s, you're like, hey, all right, let's give it a go. Um, and I'm trying to think of anybody else that was, I guess you could argue. Well, Roki Sasaki is in your next tier. I guess you could argue he belongs in that same kind of idea of like, hey, you're young, and if you get a rotation spot like Ian Seymour, you're pretty good. But let's see, Kelly, Seth Lugo, yeah, like Gowan, Castillo, Lugo, Merrill Kelly. They're guys who are all like on the downside for me of their arcs, but have been pretty good. Giolito is interesting. Like I probably would have ranked him higher if he didn't end the year hurt.
The injury thing, yeah.
Yeah. And I have Bayo in a tier. My next tier, which is like starting around 88, it's like 88 to 94.
Mm-hmm.
I have a you're young but you pitch like you're old, and it's Brian Bayo and Quinn Priester and guys like and Shane Smith and guys like that, where it's like I guess it's derogatory to be like you pitch like you're old, but I mean like you don't have the fun, irresponsible upside. You just have like a hey, maybe there's another gear.
Yeah. But, man, this is illuminating because there are certain guys that I've just somehow gotten axed accidentally. And I feel like there was a tier somewhere that I had that like they just got removed after they got copied over because where's Ryan Nelson, Nick?
Right.
And I had what is going on? So this is great why we do this, and Ryan Nelson, I'm going to tell you right now, is going to be part of that part of either of the Holly tier, I think. That initial one with like where Drew Rasmussen is. Wherever Drew Rasmussen goes, Ryan Nelson goes. Probably. I like Drew Rasmussen more. Ugh.
I have for what it's worth, I have Ryan Nelson with Matthew Boyd and Noah Cameron, where I'm like, I think you're gonna be pretty good. I don't think there's like big strikeout upside. And
the thing that's interesting about Ryan Nelson is that he has the elite fastball. It's literally just once if he does, he has a very clear path of just you need a secondary that you actually have consistently. He keeps going through games, trying a slider one day, curveball one day, changeup, cutter, whatever.
Right.
If he somehow finds one, then all of a sudden everything changes. So I'll put him in that Trevor Rogers, Andrew Abbott, Kodai Senga, Cade Horton tier. That makes sense to me.
So then we'll wrap up our top 100 here with your late upside group, and that's number 94, Roki Sasaki, 95, Brandon Sproat, 96, Jacob Latz, 97, Ryan Bergert, 98, Kyle Harrison, 99, Joey Wentz, 100, Johan Oviedo, 101, Yu Darvish, 102, Cade Cavalli, 103, Nestor Cortez.
Yeah, so I mean, all right. The one that really sticks out to me is like Johan Oviedo. Do I really feel that way? But at the same time, he's a perfect example of someone that, you're not going to be considering him like this right now. However, he has the under the hood things that we actually love.
Right.
And if you're looking for late upside, it's like, actually, there is a ton there. Believable? I don't know. You're going to quickly know, though, if he has any sort of command and approach that works. And Joey Wentz is in there because I think that Joey Wentz, four-seamers up and sliders and curveballs and now changeups too from the left side. It's like, that's fantastic. And hopefully he gets a place that he can do it. Maybe it's still on the Atlanta because they have him under team control, and we'll see how that works out. Bergert obviously showed some positive things with the Royals. I wonder if he's in that rotation or not. Same with Jacob Latz. If he does something new across this offseason, you're going to like that. Brandon Sproat is even in that rotation. And does he? I think he is, but we'll see. He needs to do more, though. It's weird of like what he is of like a sinker sweeper guy, but then sometimes sweepers got, I don't know. Cade Cavalli throws hard, hammer of a curve. What else we're going to see here? And Nestor Cortez probably shouldn't be here, but I still like to think that if Nestor Cortez is healthy for a full year, he actually is that kind of upside Toby.
And there you go. We're going to come back with more of these. Obviously, this is still very much like in our infancy stage. We're working through these rankings. If you are at First Pitch Arizona, Nick and I are going to be presenting our rankings side by side with the opportunity for you to debate us or ask us questions. We will have kind of hammered these down a little bit more by that point in time. And so, this is the early iteration, and then we'll, narrow them down a little bit more. And then, we're happy to hear your debates. So please make sure you come for that. Obviously, if you aren't able to make it and you want to know, who we have ranked certain places, you can reach out to us on Twitter, because obviously we will post that episode that is live at First Pitch Arizona. And so we can, make sure we hit on some players if you get a chance to. We are now going to go save our respective voices. Maybe drink some tea. Who really knows? Just kind of relax. So I am Eric Samulski, Pelican.
I'm Nick Pollack, the Lion.
And I'm going to just, really kind of like overthink these rankings for the next few weeks.